Namaskar. Welcome to this session. We are embarking upon the core aspect of yoga, which is classified as Antaranga aspect of Ashtanga yoga. The Antaranga of Ashtanga yoga. That is Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. It is important to consider all these three as integral practices, although there are sutras defining each one of them. But it is such a relationship between the three that they are integrally inseparable. To make it simpler for comprehension, you can divide your practice between pranayama, asana. We can say you are doing pranayama in the morning and asana in the evening. But in case of Antaranga aspects of Ashtanga yoga, it's a unique condition. You can't say that you will practice dharana in the morning, Dhyana in the evening, and Samadhi at night. You cannot be dividing the practices. They are not watertight compartments, as is the case of yamas and niyamas, asana and pranayama and pratyahara. Although the integral aspect of yoga is very much present in all those limbs of yoga, yet dharana, dhyana, samadhi score distinction here that they are more integrated, more integral practices than other integral practices of yoga. Because yoga as such itself is a very integral process. But in case of dharana, dhyana, samadhi, it is unique case, and therefore we are going to have first an overview of the Antaranga aspects of Ashtanga yoga. Again, note it down, I have not said Antaranga Sadhana, but Antaranga of yoga. Now, in common man's language, at the outset, let me tell you, dharana, dhyana itself is, or dharana, dhyana, samadhi together itself is called dhyana. So sometimes in common man's parlance, dharana, dhyana, samadhi together are also called dhyana. Then that's a wider notion. It's a wider idea. And many times in common man's parlance, there is also expression such as dhyan dharana, dhyana dharana. Technically, dharana comes first and then dhyana. Therefore, in Ashtanga, you will see that dharana is followed by dhyana and dhyana is followed by samadhi. So there is a succession, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. But in common man's parlance, many times the expression is dhyana dharana. Dhyana comes first and dharana comes later. The reason behind this is dharana, dhyana, samadhi together itself they are called dhyana, dhyana sadhana or dhyana avastha. So therefore, in common man's parlance, we come across such usages. And we have already considered Dhyana and the very idea of it. We have also considered the Vidhi and Prayojan of Dhyana. You should recall in the first chapter, we had a sutra Yatha Avimada Dhyana Dva, and also in second chapter, earlier part, we had a sutra Dhyanaheyaha Sadvruttayaha. So, Dhyana has already been considered the two major meanings of Dhyana and Vidhi as well as Prayojana. Vidhi means process, Prayojana means purpose. So we have considered that in Samadhi Pada itself, in the topic of Chitta parikarma. One is advised to go back and acquaint oneself with whatever was said in the topic of Chitta parikarma. Then again in the beginning of Sadhana Pada, or the second chapter, the sutra again brought in Dhyana, Dhyanaheyaha Tadvruttayaha, Dhyanaheyaha kleshavrittayaha. The kleshavrittis are mitigated, attenuated, enfeebled by something, and that something itself is Dhyana. So, whatever measures are taken against shadripus, which are kama, krodha, lobha, moha, madamatsariyam, or bhaya, chinta. Chinta is worry, anxiety. Bhaya is fear. So whatever measures are taken against some inherent fear, and then worry, anxiety, stress and tension, or restlessness in the chitta, restlessness in the mind, or measures against vexed mind and vexed chitta, such measures are also called Dhyana. To briefly tell you about it, whatever we had seen in earlier occasion, the Dhyana, there is one kind of Dhyana which lifts the mind sunk in subnormal condition. When you lift that mind to normal position, the measure and means that we take, if they are proper means, then that is also called Dhyana. When the mind from normal plane is taken to higher plane, sublime plane, ethereal plane, noble plane, those measures are also called Dhyana. So this is little triggering of memory for all of you who really heard the Dhyana coming in Chitta parikarma. Anyway, it is advisable to go back and listen to the delineations on both the sutras, Dhyanaheyaha Tadvruttayaha in Chitta parikarma, in Sadhana Pada, Klesha prakaranam, and Yatha Avimada Dhyana Dva in Chitta parikarma prakaranam, in the Samadhi Pada. Now comes the Dhyana, third time in Patanjali's text. So we have seen the two times, Samadhi Pada, Chitta parikarma, Sadhana Pada, Klesha prakaranam, and now in Ashtanga Yoga. So this is third time that the Dhyana is coming up. So in each case, the Vidhi is different, Prayojan is different, even the Artha is different. That is the meaning, idea, notion of Dhyana. Is now third kind of variety that we will be countering. We have counted two varieties already with respect to meaning of the term Dhyana. So also the process of it and the purpose of it. Now this is the third set of meaning of Dhyana, process of Dhyana and Prayojana, that is purpose of Dhyana. So this is the sixth limb of Ashtanga Yoga, and we will be looking into it. So in Prathama Pada, first chapter, you get the mention of Dhyana. In the second chapter, Dvitiya Pada, Sadhana Pada, you get mention of Dhyana. Now in Tritiya Pada, Vibhuti Pada, you are once again getting mention of Dhyana. In the second sutra of the Vibhuti Pada. What common factor in all the three types of dhyanas, their meaning and their vidhi, their process, their purpose, one thing is common and can come as a common factor, that is japa. And of course, I want you to recall again the concept of japa discussed in great details in Samadhi Pada. So in Yoga Dharma, any dhyana at any level of any kind with any purpose, dhyana is invariably there by way of japa. The japa is invariably there in that dhyana. So we also have to now understand importance of japa in all the kinds of dhyana which Patanjali is mentioning. Now this is the third mention. So let me tell you one thing, that when a seeker of yoga who gives a lot of importance and should be giving a lot of importance to japa sadhana, the japa invariably encounters a very strange condition, many times very, very irritating conditions, agitative condition, vexing condition. When we sit for japa, the mind is divided. There is a dichotomy. There is a division of the mind. And the mind usually is referred to as Manas Chakra. It is a wheel. The thoughts come and go, same thoughts and come and go. So it's a wheel-like function of the mind when you particularly sit for japa. And when we sit for japa, these two wheels start getting operated. They start rotating. So we chant the japa in the mind. If it is the manasa japa, we will be repeating the mantra, repeating nama, and that would be manasa japa. And now you should recall the various types of japa discussed already in the Samadhi Pada with the Japa Sutra, Tad Japa Sadartha Bhavanam. So in the ethos of yoga, it is usually japa of Bhagwan Nama or Guru given Nama or Om or a Taraka mantra. So japa is always with regards to mantra or nama. And then there are two wheels. that they start getting operated when you sit for japa like thing. Otherwise you do not experience the two wheels of the mind operating independently. When you are repeating japa, silently uttering japa, or you are in mental japa, manasika japa, that is prana kriya, and therefore the mind is pranik man. The mind which is in japa is referred to as pranik japa, and the other mind is a tormentor of this japa. It is a tormentor of this pranic mind, and this is experienced by every one of us. That when you are sitting for japa, weird thoughts, strange thoughts, untimely, unexpected thoughts start coming up in the mind. They come and then they go. They come, they stay for a while and go. They are replaced by some other thought. So this chaos is created in the mind when you sit for japa. When you are not in japa, the mind is not so chaotic, but when you sit for japa, the second mind plays quite a significant role and tormenting role. That is called vasanik mind, vaicharik mind. The vichars, the thoughts come up, the tendencies give rise to thoughts, and that mind starts working, taking matter from tendencies, taking matter from experiences, worldly experiences, mundanity and worldliness. And then these two minds often have a clash, and that anyone can experience when one settles to japa. So, the moment we take recourse to japa, we the neophytes, the mind is divided. It is vibhajita manas. That means there is division of the mind, and the division is in two. One is, listen carefully, sankalpodbhava, mind in mantra, nama and japa. The other mind is obstructor, antagonizer, devastator, tormentor of this sankalpajanya mind, sankalpodbhava mind. Sankalpa means you resolve to be in japa. You decide that you would be in japa, you would do japa. You resolve that you would be in japa, you will be doing japa. So that is sankalpodbhav manas. And it is engaged in your mantra or nama and mantra japa or nama japa. At the same time, the other mind is also put in operative mode, which quite chaotically works. And it is because of vasanas, tendencies. It comes to obstruct your pranic mind in japa, or the mind that is in japa, nama japa or mantra japa. It just comes to vex it, torment it, harass it, disturb it, obstruct it. So one is looking to be in discipline of mantra japa and nama japa. The other one is giving nudges and blows to devastate it, to vex it, to torment it, to harass it. and ultimately get frustrated. Now, these are the two wheels of the mind, and to properly conceive these two minds, the two wheels of the mind, the Vasana Chakra and Japa Chakra are the two minds. The one mind is Japa Chakra, repeating the Nama, repeating the mantra. So the Japa Chakra is the function of that one mind, which is Sankalpodbhava and which is Pradik. While the other mind is Vasana Chakra of the mind. Weird thoughts, strange thoughts, bizarre thoughts come and go, come and stay and go, repeat, come back again and again. So these two wheels should be imagined in two forms. The Japa Chakra mind is regulated wheel, geometrically a perfect circle, and the Vasanatmaka mind is unshapely, kind of wheel. It doesn't have regular shape, it has irregular shape. So it won't be perfect circle. It would be of a strange kind of figuration. So these two minds start operating once you are in japa. And then they have often accidents, in the sense the Vasana Chakra mind comes and dashes against the Japa Chakra mind and obstructs it, dents it, vexes it. It is like a drunken person. How does a drunken person walk? How is the movement of a drunken person? Oscillations, swayings, irregular way of walking. So this Vasana mind or Vasanatmaka mind, Vasanik mind and Vasanik Chakra is like a drunken wheel. Can go anywhere. It has an irregular movement, haphazard movement, unpredictable movements, bumpy movements. While the Japa Chakra mind is quite regular circle. So it can really work very smoothly as a circle. It can rotate very smoothly as a circle. But this irregular mind also is simultaneously rotated. It is made functional. And then because of its shape, haphazard shape, it often comes and gives nudges to Japa Chakra and torments it, vexes it, disturbs it. So, this is how we have to understand division of the mind, basically. So one is Niyamana Yukta mind and the other one is Aniyantrita, Aniyamita mind. So let me tell you here, just as in the great epic battle of Mahabharata, in the Kurukshetra, which was fought between Kuru Vamsha, the two divisions of Kuru Vamsha, called Kaurav and Pandavas. So they were in that Dharma Kshetra and Kurukshetra. This is what the opening verse of Bhagavad Gita tells us. The two armies were engaged in Dharma Kshetra and Kurukshetra. Similarly, our mind is divided. Like Kuru Vamsha, the race of Kuru got divided between Kauravas and Pandavas. One race divided into two families. Similarly, one mind is divided into two. The Antakaranam is divided. There is Dvivibhajanam, namely Vasanik Mana and Sankalpa Mana, or Vasanik Mana and Pranik Mana, or Vasanik Mana and Japik Mana, which is in Japa. And therefore, Japa is also Dharma Sangram. It is Dharma Yuddha. It is battle between Dharma and Adharma. It is battle between Punya and Papa. It's a battle between the virtuous and vicious. It is battle between Daivi and Asuri, Sampada within ourselves. It is battle between Vasana and Prana. So, it is to be understood that these two wheels, one of them is regularly round and the other one is haphazardly round, not at all a regular circle, irregular circle, and therefore it is unpredictable and it can have very jerky, jumpy movements when the wheel is not circular. How does the wheel rotate? Similarly, this Vasanic mind, which is unshapely mind, which is rotating, would be having jerky movements and bumpy movements. And more often it comes and therefore intentionally or unintentionally dashes against regular circle of the mind, regularly circularized mind of japa, and it goes on giving it nudges, hits, and it disturbs it, it obstructs it. Many times it also dents it. Naturally, when there is an accident, there is denting, there is a dent. The vehicles are dented. So the wheels are dented. Vasana chakra is already dented in several ways. But this japa chakra, which is quite a regular circular mind, also starts getting dents. And therefore its movement is also now not smooth. Moreover, Vasana chakra is like a drunken person, and the Japa chakra is like a sane person. So, drunken person hitting and nudging the sane person. What happens to sane person? Gets agitated, gets irritated, gets exasperated, becomes angry, becomes frustrated, and loses the composure. So this is what happens to our Japa chakra and Japa mind, that it suffers by the Vasanic mind, which is often coming and hitting, creating an accident of the two. This is what happens to our Japa. And many times we revoke our Japa with enormous amount of anger, fretting, fuming, exasperation, sadness, frustration, dejection, etc. Now the advice is here that these two wheels are going to be operating. But whenever the Vasanic mind gives a nudge or gives a hit to the pranic man, Japa, the mind in Japa, it must not lose its balance. Even if it loses, its face should show as if it has not taken cognizance of whatever vexation, tormentation inflicted on it. Like when somebody is vexing you, tormenting you, if you react to that, the person is stimulated to vex you more, torment you more. But if you show that you are not at all vexed and tormented, although you are tormented, you are vexed, but in your body language, you show that as if you are not at all touched by whatever inflictions caused. Then after a while that person gets demotivated, because the person's aim is to torment you, harass you, vex you, infuriate you, provoke you. But if you do not show any provocation, although from inside you will be disturbed, but on the face you have to show that you are not provocated. Then after a while that person is discouraged from tormenting you. The same trick is to be applied here. Knowing that we will be vexed by this vasanic mind, we have to show as if we are not vexed. Although we are vexed, we have to show that we are not tormented, we are not exasperated. So we have to continue. Go on settling to your own japa, even after a nudge. So after a while, this vasanic mind loses its intent to vex you and torment you, and the vasanic mind slowly gets away from you. So this is an important kind of piece of instruction that comes from the literature, the literature of the saints, who tell us that when you are in japa, your mind will be more monkey mind than ever before. The other mind, vasanic mind, will be having volcanoes after volcanoes erupting. But you have to show, your pranic mind has to show that you are not at all vexed and tormented. So after a while, that vasanic mind loses the motivation to torment you. The more you react and show your tormentation, harassment, the more it is motivated, the more it is enthused to trouble you. So here we have to play a drama. We have to have an enactment as if we are not vexed and tormented. Your serenity is undislodged and not get bubbles of disturbances on the surface. Then after a while, that mind loses motivation and also gets fatigued and tired and slowly goes into inhibition. So this is a piece of instruction that has come from literature of the saints to tell the sadhakas about what japa is and what happens during japa and what should be the strategy here. Never try to fight it out. So two things, never try to fight it out. Never engage in a bout with vasanic mind. That will make it more powerful. Nor get exasperated, angry, dejected, frustrated. That will also energize that vasanic mind. So therefore this is the battle. One must be familiar with this battle. And the strategy has been beautifully explained by one of the great Bhagavatas, the saints. So the point to be noted here is that Dhyana is invariably a japa, Therefore, there is a mind in japa, and there is another mind which is vasanic mind, and these two minds become division of the mind, and then they too fight with each other. One of them is trying to fight the other mind. The other mind, which is in japa, should not be launching offensive or should not be even going for defensive tactics. Just feel that it is not at all touched. All those attacks are not vexing, not tormenting. So, point is vasanik mana, pranik mana. Vasana chakra and japa chakra. These must be conceived in the mind. So before we go to japa, we should know that we are dividing our mind. We are not involving our mind into japa. We are dividing our mind. One plays monkey tricks, and the other mind pretends to be a saint. So in that pretense of the saint, we are given certain ideas, tricks, that we should never show our torment, never react to torments. As a matter of fact, feel or express as if you are not tormented at all. And that is the strategy. So, with this introductory aspect of division of the mind, we will be ending the session today, and we will proceed on it in the following sessions. So, namaskar all of you.